Hello, how are you all this fine day? I hope that if you're here, you subscribe to this channel if you're not already, and you check out the links that are down below. We've got an email, newsletter, we have my website, we have my social media, and if you like what we're doing here, go support me in all the other places. And we're going to try out something a little bit different today, and we're making this a little bit more interactive. I put a post out in a private Facebook group for us neurodiverse folks, and I asked people, what assumptions do you receive as an autistic person? And let me tell you, they kind of all come down to something quite similar, and you'll notice that as we go through some of these, but I think we need to just put them out there and just bask in the frustration and hopefully squash them to the ground. So, let's get started with Jordana, who said that an assumption she receives is that I'm immature and childlike, which I think comes down to if you thrive when you receive more support, which is nothing to be ashamed of, but that just leaves people thinking that you're not a capable, valid adult. And two, depending on your special interests. If your special interest is in something that is deemed childlike, then people just assume that you are an adult child, which is not the case. All of your special interests are valid as long as they are not harming yourself or others. So that is important to remember. And Mel Mackey said that, a comment in air quotes here, "Oh, but don't autistic people usually have some kind of special talent, or are you really good at math or anything?" I've received something similar from Eli, that you have to be a white teenage boy who's either super smart at math and science or really good at computer games. And you have to have really specific special interests. And if other people have similar interests or fall into like a fandom or whatever the heck, then you must not be autistic, because other people are interested in this thing too. Again, whatever special interest you have is super valid, and for essentially all special interests, we don't necessarily choose them. So if other people are also choosing them out of their own free will, that doesn't mean you don't have a special interest. Like, that doesn't invalidate your existence, or it shouldn't. Elena said that you are not autistic if you communicate well, and you like touch, and you make eye contact, and you function normally. Again, what is normally? Who put down the creed of what it means to be normal? I mean, it had to be someone that was neurotypical, but in any case, who deems that? That alone is a huge assumption. Gemma said that you can't be autistic if you seem fine. What is fine? Fine is so shallow. You know, it's one of those random words you throw out there when you're making small talk that you actually really don't care about. It means nothing. It's so arbitrary. Max said an assumption is that autistic people don't understand when they're being insulted, and you know, if you do see some sort of injustice or insult, then you just misunderstood. You interpreted it wrong, because if you're autistic, you don't understand. Things just go over your head. Which, again, are we not capable human beings? Are we just like, I don't know, puppets that just like sit there and just don't get anything? You can see my frustration, I am sure. June said, again, that people think they can tell when someone is autistic, you know, and she's heard many times people expressing surprise when they found out that she was autistic, you know, as if they have some magic way of knowing. I will admit, if you're a neurotypical and you are very educated in neurodiversity, you know, I think there's some autism radar that maybe you're using, but most people don't. You know, they're playing from that one dimension, that one stereotype, and they think everyone can fit into that mold. So with all of these, whether it's you're too pretty to be autistic, they just don't believe that you're autistic, you have to be childish, you have to be interested in something like mechanical, you just always have meltdowns if you're in public, you just don't have empathy either. Throw that in. There are so many things. Oh, and one more from Sarah McKinnon, that everyone is autistic in some way. Everyone's just a little autistic. I want to thank everyone. I was reading these from that Facebook post, and I appreciate all the comments I received from that, because they're oh so common. I think when I was hearing these, and when you were probably hearing these, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've heard that so many times. Because, again, we think that there's only, not we, but neurotypical people think that there's only one way you can be autistic. There's a very select few traits, and any way to just invalidate who you are and just further perpetuate the need for us to mask ourselves and not be authentic and not just, you know, ask direct questions and not necessarily follow all of the social norms that are apparently so important. All these assumptions are out there. I think a huge part by ableism and just not really seeing autism as something that is valid and something that is a way of being for many neurodiverse people, and that you just have to either fit this one mold of being autistic, or you have to fake being neurotypical. Like, there's only two choices there. And I'm going to take it back to something I said in another video of, you know, fighting the stigma, the stereotypes, and the ignorance around what autism actually is. It's a two-way street. It's so exhausting and draining for people to receive these assumptions all the time, just for existing, maybe just for admitting and being open about being neurodiverse. And that's not fair on you. And it's not your job to have to educate everyone, because that alone is so exhausting. We need more valid representation. We need more awareness. And we just need those things. So on that note, if you're interested in more interactive types of things, let me know in the comments below, as well as any assumptions that you received that I didn't mention. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video if you did, and subscribe if you want to. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Wishing you all the best, and I will see you all next time.